Hello and welcome again. My name is Amethyst Treleaven and this is Celtic Ogham reading number 809 for my client with the initials M. Okay, M, you asked me to look at a couple of issues for you. One was around your relationship and I guess the health of that and its future prospects. And secondly, you asked me to focus on your career for you, and specifically the type of career that you want and whether that was appropriate for you or not. So we'll spend a fair bit of time here, but we'll start here and we'll work our way around for you. I start up here for you with this Ogham stave here, and this is aspen or adia, and aspen's fantastic because it's about whilst it kind of I'll start again. A lot of people don't like aspen because they think it's about fear and it's about concern and it's about worry. And yes, on the surface it is. But it's really fantastic that it's in your reading with the combination of other Ogham staves or fuse that you have here, because it talks about your hesitation to step forward. It talks about how your reservedness on occasions, and I wanted to pick up on that a little bit for you because it's pretty important in the I guess in the bigger picture of what you're asking me about. So I'm going to pick up on that as we go through, and why I'm kind of hesitating with that a little bit is because, as I said, a lot of people see that as being negative, but for you I think this is actually really quite valuable because it's a really good balancer for you. Over here, this Ogham fuse or this stave here is Ruis or elder. And this is in the position that themes your whole reading, and it's sorry, not your whole reading, the whole of your past 12 months, and it's actually about regret, and I find that quite interesting and a little bit of an anomaly actually. And there are a couple of anomalies in this reading, and in other words, they are kind of blank patches at the moment. And what happens with the trees is that they don't always give me the information in logical order. So you'd think that we'd go around in this perfectly logical order, and that doesn't always happen. So if I kind of jump about a bit, you'll understand why. Regret. With the other ones that I've got here in your past 6 months, these three are all about the last 6, maybe the last 12 months or so. I can see very much a need for you for peace, for harmony, for love, shelter, I guess, and that hasn't always been the case. These two here are quite interesting. This one here is heather or ur. Lovely stave, and it's sitting over the top of Bethel birch. So what I can see here is then that the relationship that you're in is no longer new, because Beth is about new things, but you absolutely adore your partner. You really are, you've heavily invested in your partner, I guess is a really good way to say that. I'm just kind of looking at your photo again now because it's helping me to focus. Yeah. So yeah, you're quite heavily, you are one of those people that when you love completely. You love with all of who you are. The downside to that, of course, is that when you hurt with all of who you are as well. So it's kind of like all or nothing for you. Bethel birch underneath here is about new beginnings. So in the last year or so, there's been some hassles for you in terms of relationship. There have been some new experiences that you've been exposed to that haven't always been happy. and it's been quite a bit of a trying time. This one here is Ash or Newen. Interesting that this is here as well, particularly in light of this one that we had here. This is in the position of what's happening in your life right now. And for you, it's very much about, you know, I can see it as ships, I don't know what you call it. Jeepers, I sound like an absolute idiot today. I'm really sorry, Em. The speed thing on a ship that's, you know, backwards, and it, you know, you move it and it's got bells and it says full forward and, you know, full steam ahead, all that kind of stuff. For you, that full steam ahead has stopped at the moment, and you know, we talked here about fear, but for you it's about hesitation, and at the moment you just kind of, it's not full steam ahead anymore, it's status quo. It's, oh, should I invest in this relationship because, you know, I'm really on an emotional knife edge right now. Should I do this with my career? And there are a number of other things that are happening in your life as well at the moment that you're really not ready to make a decision on. You're kind of hanging back. Let's spend some more time here though, because this is where the answers to your questions are. These four are about the next 12 months, and they're themed with this one here, which is oak or dur. Now, oak is probably one of my favourite Ogham staves, particularly with the sort of questions that you're asking me. Oak is about hard work. The next 12 months for you really is actually going to be a fair bit of hard work. And I mean that not just in terms of physically, in terms of working towards your career, but I mean in terms of emotionality as well. It's not going to be a 12 months where you can just sit back and cruise. I'm afraid you have to do a fair bit of work in the next 12 months, and I'll pick up on that and talk to you a little bit more about that as we go through. Underneath here we have Ingertol or broom. This is about sweeping clean and sweeping away all of the old situations, fears, all of the old worries, all of the old goals, maybe even all of the people that no longer support you in life. This is about completely changing a whole pile of different things in your life, and again I'll pick up on that in a moment. And this one here is Lewis or Rowan, and this is about self-protection. This is about you taking measures to look after you, again emotionally, but also financially here is really pretty important as well. It's about not necessarily building a wall around yourself. Remember we talked about the fear. It's not necessarily about building a wall around yourself based out of fear, but it's about making sure that you don't absolutely and utterly give everything of yourself. You need to make sure that you have some of you left so that you are looking after you. And this one underneath here is strafe or blackthorn, and this is the kind of underpinning, if you like, for the next 12 months ahead. And I have to be honest and say it is not my most favourite stave. In fact, it is my least favourite stave. Blackthorn is about sadness, it's about isolation, it's about tears, and it's about frustration. So, what have we got for you in the next 12 months? I'm hesitant to say this because I know how, I can feel how passionate you are about life and what you want, but I don't see tremendous outcomes for yourself and your partner. The man in your life is not delivering to you what you need. He is not being as supportive of you as you would like him to be. So for you, Heather, here, which talks about your need for love, security, companionship, passion, peace, harmony. I'm afraid that in the staves I actually don't see that in the long term with this current man. What I do see though is that you need to get to the point, and that's what this is all about, and these ones are all about, where you are strong enough to say, I am better than this. I deserve more than this. I want more than this. And whilst you are not prepared to give that to me, I am prepared to care for me and go and find someone who will give me what I desire. Engatal here very much talks about the need for you to stop hanging on to things, to dreams that aren't supporting you, being a little bit more realistic, and sweeping away old goals with someone that are no longer relevant, so that you can allow new experiences, a new peace, a new happiness to come into your life. So I guess in essence, what I'm really saying about your relationship is that it's not in a good place right now, and that not being in a good place is likely to continue. The outcome of that is up to you. You can either continue with the status quo, and the man in your life is quite happy for you to keep going with him because he's getting what he wants right now. You are not. But you are worth more than that. You have to get to the point where you say, I am worthy, I am amazing, I am incredible, I am worth more than this, and I choose a better option for myself. And that will happen within the next 9 months or so. So there are going to be some massive changes for you in terms of relationship. You also asked me about your career and whether the choice to go into a career in art is absolutely right for you. These come back and say, yes, it is right for you at the moment, but in a couple of years you're going to shift sideways and go into something slightly different in terms of creativity. So I'm going to suggest to you that you continue to pursue the career choice that you are currently looking at, because that will give you a fantastic foundation for the sideways shift which will occur for you in your career within 2 years' time. You're going to look at things slightly differently in 2 years' time, and you're going to want to do something slightly different. But the training, the education and the work that you do currently in this next year or two is fantastic basis and foundation for what you want to do in the future. I actually see in 5 years' time, it's quite difficult for me to go that far out, but I actually see in 5 years' time you're going to be in quite a different place, particularly in terms of business, and you're going to be earning your money from a different source, quite different to that you think you want to earn it in now. But go with the flow. Use these experiences as learning opportunities to build your armory of talents, because your talents in terms of their creativity are going to be much broader than you think they are. So be open to new experiences and look at those new experiences as being the tools that help you build an even brighter future. Now I wanted to talk to you as well about your Druid Animal Oracle card, and I'm really pleased to see that this actually came up for you, because this is really, really valid for your questions. This is Ada or Nahir, and this is very much about change, because there's lots of changes coming up for you in the next 12 months, and they're not all going to be happy changes, of course. Ultimately, there will be some smiles for you, but in the short term with changes to your relationship, there's going to be a few tears. But Ada, he talks very much about self-growth, which is what's going to happen for you when you get to the point that says, you know, I'm worth more than this. And it's about rebirth and about healing. So if you can think about the symbol, the old-fashioned symbol for doctors, which was the snake around the staff, that's very much about healing. And it's about, if you think about adders, they shed their skin, so they let go of the old. Remember we talked here about Engatal and how he's going to let go of the old, and how you are going to do that in this coming year. Well, Adder does exactly the same thing. By shedding their skin, they let go of the old to make room for the new. And so Adder is very much about moving into new phases of life. So for you, there's definitely going to be new things happening. There's actually a change of address for you coming up as well. You're going to be moving house too, and that will be around the time where you and the man in your life decide to split ways. You will actually be the one that makes the decision to end that relationship, and that won't go down very well with your partner, because he thinks he's onto a fairly good wicket at this point. But you need to be strong, you need to be centered, and you need to be looking after you. So Adha is very much about all of that rebirth and moving into those new experiences. And Adha is a fantastic meditation animal to help you become really comfortable with all of those changes as well. So I really encourage you to look at that. Adha is also about health, and that's mental health, emotional health, physical health. And for you, it's really important in the next year that you look after your physical health. You tend to go at things full pelt. You tend to, really run at things, and you can wear yourself out physically. So Adha is asking you just to think a little bit about how you can look after yourself in terms of health, which means eating well and getting enough sleep. You don't get enough sleep, you have troubled sleep. So it's really important. See if you can find ways to meditate and relax a little before you go to bed at night, for example. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was your birth tree, your Celtic birth tree. And with your birthday as it is, your Celtic birth tree is oak or dewar. And that was interestingly also the tree that's going to theme your next 12 months. So this is actually pretty good. As a birth tree, oak people are very strong. You are very strong. You're very capable. You're very resourceful. You're really quite resilient as well. You put up with an awful lot though from other people, and what that does is sometimes give them the unspoken permission, if you like, to walk all over you. So I'm really going to encourage you in this next year again to find what's important for you and go with that. And of course that means you knowing how worthy, incredible and valuable you are. And oak people know that. They're strong, they're reliable. They're often the ones that people come to ask for advice. They're the nurturers of other people, if you like, as well. They're the ones that give and give and give and give and give, but often don't get back in return. Oak people, a downside to oak people though, which I think is very important for you, is that whilst they give and they give and they give, they tend to also work and work and work and work, and they keep working until they absolutely snap. They crash and burn. So it's absolutely full on or nothing at all. And for you in the coming year, you need to find that balance. And again, that's about looking at what's important for you. It's about putting yourself first instead of always putting other people first, which is what oak people tend to do. Oak people also tend to be very inspiring to other people. There's your creativity coming out, Em. You are incredibly creative. You don't always share that with the world though, so I'm going to encourage you to do that again this year. Give of yourself in terms of your creativity, not necessarily in terms of your physical and emotional self, but of your creativity. Oak people are also natural born leaders as well, because they motivate people, they inspire people. But oak people can also have a really quick temper. So you can be pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, but when you snap, boy, do you snap. And you've got a wicked temper when you get that far. But, on the flip side, oak people are very much people that other people rely on an awful lot. So you tend to be the strong one, if you like. And that can also seem to some people as though you're a little bit stubborn on occasions as well. You're not stubborn necessarily, but you are purposeful. You do have purpose, and you stick with that purpose. And oak people are often teachers and managers as well. And when I talked about how your the career that you want in art is going to shift in 2 years, it's going to shift towards more of that teaching and that sharing as opposed to just doing art. So I hope that that's been beneficial for you, Em, in terms of making decisions. And whilst I haven't been in a position to be able to give you some wonderfully happy news, I do hope that this Ogham reading has the capacity to confirm what you already know, and I think that it will do that for you. And that as well, it gives you the strength to know that you are incredible and you deserve an awful lot more than you've been getting.